Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Trump, Rogan, Harris, Vance, Walz, everybody out there doing their whole campaign thing. And man, it is getting nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. It's super, super nasty. We're going to show you and talk about all the nastiness that's getting nastier by the day as we head into the very final stretch of this U.S. presidential election. And joining us live right after this is the one, the only, Joseph Leonard from Detroit, the Motor City, to help give us an American perspective on the U.S. presidential election.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV.
The entire world is watching.
On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
He's a fighter. He's a survivor. President Trump, defiant, strong. He is determined to make America great again. Pay tribute to the 45th President of the United States with this collectible t-shirt from the Maverick News Memorable Moments collection. Even a would-be assassin's bullet could not stop him. Instead, he emerged with his fist in the air ready to fight. For freedom. Get your Trump Fighting for Freedom t-shirt with any donation of $30 or more to Maverick News. There are two iconic artistic designs to choose from. But there is only one way to get these. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Support free speech. Free media. Support Maverick News. Call 1-866-248-1490 or order online at supergeeks.tv.
Okay, let's bring him in. Here he is. Joseph, how are you tonight?
Hey, like I always say, could be better, could be worse, right? Hanging in there. I can't wait till the election is over, though. Oh,
yeah. You know, I was thinking we need a name for you. Like Dragon's got his name, Dragon. People have a lot of names for me, which I can't repeat on the air. And I was thinking, you know, we need a name for you, like, I don't know, Motor City something, but not the Madman, because that one's taken.
Right.
Yeah, we'll got to think about that anyway. But thanks for coming on tonight, because we are.
Motor City Motor Mouth.
Yeah, no, it's not complimentary enough. We need something a little more sophisticated, and yeah. But well, let's get to the heart of the matter tonight, which is the U.S. presidential election. I put in the thumbnail tonight just the one word: nasty, and it is nasty. It's getting nastier and nastier. Have you ever seen one this nasty? Was the Trump race this nasty? It was pretty nasty.
Yeah, but I think I'm with you. I mean, maybe our memories faded a little, and there were certainly nasty moments, but 24/7 like now, and it's
Yes, and I mean, when I say nasty, like I think when he was running against Clinton, they did bring out the N word, the Nazi word. At times, they did call him Hitler. I remember Robert De Niro, F Trump this, F Trump that, just F Trump. People didn't like that, although we get a lot of F Trudeau up here these days, and the people who are upset about F Trump are embracing F Trudeau. So that's politics.
yeah, it's okay
mania.
when my side does it, and I don't
right.
do that. But
Yeah.
normally, there's exceptions to every rule.
But man, it's really ramped up in the last week with that speech by Kamala Harris standing in front of I think it was the residence of the vice presidents, wasn't it? I think so. Anyway, you had the vice presidential flag right next to her, standing at the podium with the seal of the vice president right in front of her, and she's basically calling Donald Trump the N-word.
Yeah. When I say I don't do that, this audience knows. Oh, I name call the Kamalunist, but I label correctly, right? I have a piece from years ago, right? The
Your insults are accurate.
Yeah. But, years ago, decades ago, on Before It's News, I wrote a piece, the Nazi label gets tossed around a lot. Let's examine the claim. 28 planks of the NSDAP are in the DNC platform. So them calling us Nazis and Hitler is projection, because I know what a thesis is, and I can evidence and fact my thesis, right? Back up what I say. They can't, and indeed, in order to deflect from the 28 Nazi planks in their platform, they call us Nazis. And that goes back to Reagan, H.W. Bush, G.W. Bush. They even called Romney and McLean Nazi. And they love rhinos, Romney, Mitt Rhino-knee, as I call him, and McLean, Senator Songbird, Obamacare savior Rhino McLean. They love them, but of course when they run for president, they're Nazis. They've always used it.
I've said for a long time we should be very careful about using the word Nazi because it's getting watered down, and when you get to a point where maybe you really need to use it, it'll be like crying wolf. And people won't know whether to take you seriously. They'll dismiss it at maybe a crucial moment. Because I've seen it used up here a lot against Canadian politicians over time, provincially and federally. It's a concern.
Yeah. I hear you. But yeah, when I do the name calling, I don't do the right? And I have no problem with the name calling from me and on my side, because the left has done it forever. It kills me if I call somebody a name on social media and a leftard will, the name calling. You morons call everyone racist, sexist, Islamophobic, Your name calling never ceases. The labels without merit. But if I create the Kamalunist, oh my God, how disrespectful. I must be sexist. And racist, of course, because it's a black woman. I'm not, they can criticize black Republicans all day long and call them Uncle Toms or porch Negroes, but dare I say anything about the Kamalianists, I must be racist and sexist.
You know what? I don't know what to make of some of this stuff, though. Like, the Heritage Foundation, right?
Project 2025.
Right. So they keep pointing to that and saying that that's Trump's thing.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't know anything about it.
Nope.
But here's the thing. Like, the Heritage Foundation used to be pretty conservative, but like in a Reagan way. And I never really paid much attention to them. And so when they started when they started pointing the finger at the Heritage Foundation and criticizing it and saying, "Oh, it's it's radical," right? Never thought much about that. I'm seeing now that people are accusing, and these accusations are actually coming from Republicans, a lot of it, which surprises me. But they're saying that the Heritage Foundation is getting, these are allegations. I can't say if any of this is true or not. I'm just making an observation. Don't shoot me, okay? I'm just pointing something out. All right? There are a lot of allegations, and there's a lot of stuff going around like this, and some of it, from pretty credible sources, saying that they're in cahoots with Russia and getting their funding now from Russia. So you've seen a lot of Republicans kind of leave, and then we're getting videos like this posted, right?
So listen, I'm going to say a few things about this hack.
This is from back in June,
the
actually.
Heritage Foundation. This is big, and we need to help make it big. This has the potential to be as big as the WikiLeaks leaks of Hillary Clinton, the DNC. I have always felt, why is there only hacking going on with the Democratic Party? Well, that's because, as the Mueller report lays out, Russia and China were both involved. Their military intelligence were both involved with these hacks in order to elevate Donald Trump and harm the Democratic Party. But now we've got these heroes, whoever these hackers are, these hackers who clearly care about all Americans. They're finally equaling it all out. Equal playing field. And what's coming out already is really disturbing. And one of the things I want everybody to keep focused on is that there are IP addresses coming from China, and I'm sure there'll be some from Russia as well as more of the leaks come out. But you talk about the direct connection between China, Russia, the Republican Party, Project 2025, and of course Donald Trump. And it's all there. It's all there. And half of America is supporting all of this. We need to protect these hackers at all cost. We really do. So, can't wait to share all the content, all of us, and get it all out there. Can't wait.
Well, that was back in June. I don't know if anything of real damage came out of that. I don't recall.
Nothing
did. That confused me. What she was saying, we have to protect the hackers. Why? Because they're hacking the
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, like you said, in the 80s and early 90s, I was never officially a member of the Heritage Foundation, but I was absolutely a supporter.
Yeah.
I don't have much to do with them at all anymore because, yes, they've changed somewhat. And I've looked at Project 25, and they have every right to put out their thing, but Donald Trump doesn't work for the Heritage Foundation. No one in the Heritage Foundation is going to be in Donald Trump's cabinet. It has nothing to do with him. Killing the Department of Education? Absolutely, wholeheartedly. That doesn't mean, like that kind of twit would say, they want to defund it. No, we want to eliminate what was all along unconstitutional, federal, fascistic, dictatorial, top-down, unconstitutional federal agency and return it to local control where it belongs. It's nothing to do with defunding education.
But speaking of foreign interference, which we know is going on in Canada because we have the intelligence on that, we know we have actual sitting members of parliament who are either witting or unwitting participants in foreign interference. We know all of that. We just haven't got their names yet. And I saw a report, well, we reported on it yesterday, that China, was it China and Russia? Anyway, the phones of Trump, Harris, Vance, all targeted, and the campaign teams as well by these foreign governments, like on both sides being targeted. Like, that doesn't surprise me at all. I think you'd have to be just freaking dense to not think that foreign governments are trying to meddle and manipulate in some way in the election.
I think you said it before. They want chaos.
Yeah.
Destruction here. So they're going to meddle in everything. They're going to spy on and hack everyone. Now, regarding the Heritage Foundation fake hack stuff, I could go on the dark web the minute this show is over, fake a spreadsheet or fake some emails and dump them on the dark web and let them matriculate into the real world as supposed real hacked information from, say, Act Blue or Cockle's campaign office or whatever. You know, anybody could do that. That's different things. But indeed, it didn't last because there was no there. Unlike the ClimateGate released emails, actual WikiLeaks stuff. And I've said it before, Julian Assange to me is a traitorate. Yes, he's released some good stuff, or like a Snowden, traitorate. Some stuff good, other stuff led to our intelligence officers and troops being killed. I have a problem with that. You know, to what line do you go and dance on but not cross?
You know what was very interesting in the last 2 weeks? I think this was about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. Do you know who went to Russia as a guest?
Not sure who you're getting at.
Julian Assange's father.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yes. Yeah, as a guest of a person who is the head of a journalists association.
Well, that makes perfect sense to me because a lot and most of the WikiLeaks are coming out of the West. So again, like you said, like we both said, Putin wants disruption. If he can aid anything that helps destroy the West, he's for it. Notice there aren't a whole boatload of WikiLeaks about Russian intelligence.
No. Russia doesn't put up with it. Russia doesn't allow it. Russia suppresses information and employs censorship, so they don't have a problem with this stuff. Because if you engage in any of it, and they can get a hold of you, you're done, right?
Yeah.
So over here it's a different story.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But Occam's razor, right? Common sense. People can't apply it. Yes, they're a closed society and they have a bigger control and handle on it. So, there are less leaks. That doesn't make Julian Assange a Russian apologist or a Russian agent doing their bidding.
But don't you find it kind of interesting that Julian Assange's father gets an all expenses, and I think it's an all expenses paid trip to Russia as a guest of, shall I say, an arm's length media outlet of the Russian government? Are you cluing in?
Yeah. Now, again, why wouldn't Putin want to not try to curry favor with Assange's family, right? Why wouldn't he?
Do you think
Right.
but is it appropriate to accept that?
No, but
If you do, what does that say?
it says something. But
It says
what
something.
exactly it says, yeah, I'm not willing to push that envelope.
Okay.
But again, I mean, Assange, again, to me is a patriot. Some things I'm
Patriot.
okay with what got released. Other things I think went way beyond the scope of exposing corrupt and or fascistic ever-growing government to the point of undermining the West against the East.
Got to be careful
That
because
is where my problem is.
some people worship at the feet of Assange, and if you say anything and even remotely critical, man, like you're done.
I just did, yes.
So, if you even ask a question, I could eat your brain.
What
no,
is
sorry.
Julian Assange's middle name? Oh my God! How dare you even ask that? What?
Anyway, my gosh. So I didn't even intend to get into that Heritage Foundation stuff. It was just sort of a sidebar. Just thought I'd bring that up.
No, I'm glad you did, because again, they're hanging the Joseph Goebbels style lies off it, constantly peddling. No, he has on his website Trump 47 agenda. It's right there.
That's true.
He's not associated with it, and if he was, again, things in there I agree, things I don't agree. I'm not a Trump cultist. Things I agree with him on, things I disagree with him on.
Yeah, what was the thing that he said this week that people really got upset about? The Project Aurora quote about deporting all of the illegal immigrants, but it seems when you read it, I don't know if I can find it or not. It does seem like pretty heavy. But
yeah, well, of course, the usual, it's all racism. It has nothing to do with crime. It has nothing to do with they taken over, literally, buildings in America. It has nothing to do with their shaking down and or chasing out or raping and harming American citizens. No, it's, this is just racism, and it's Operation Wetback. Well, people, when Operation Wetback was coined, wetback wasn't the slur that you all decided you had to turn it into.
Hey, Trump is wrapping up his speech right now. Let's just dip in on it. Here we go.
Yeah, he's in
chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III from happening. We're very close to World War III. We've never been so close. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. They deserve this. They have to have that respect. We have to give them back the honor and the respect that they deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. I rebuilt the military, but we're going to now do upgrades. We will build a missile defense shield above our country, all over our country, and much of it will be made in Pennsylvania. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And I am going to put in legislation immediately upon getting to Washington that makes it an absolute penalty to burn our American flag 1 year in prison, 1 year. If you want to burn our American flag, you go to prison for 1 year. And I looked at what happened 2 months ago in Washington, D.C. with the horrible scene. They were burning flags all over the place and spraying spray paint on beautiful limestone, but that's my business, you know, real estate. I look, limestone sucks in the paint. You'll see that limestone, you'll see that paint 100 years from now. They were spray painting the beautiful lions at the main entrance to a magnificent building. No, but you burn our flags, 1 year in prison. They say it's unconstitutional, but I can't believe that. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools and immediately. And we will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend religious liberty, I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. That's your Second Amendment. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens, maybe for a change, right? And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. It will be ended. You can come into our country, but you have to come in legally. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope and loaded up with the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. Early voting is underway. Get everyone you know out there. All those people that raised their hands, please get out and vote. You got to vote. And all the people that didn't have to raise their hand, we really appreciate it. We really do, because we're going to have the biggest victory maybe in the history of our country. This could be the biggest in the history of our country. After all we've been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of America. With your help, from now until Election Day, it's 9 days, we will restore America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. You know,
Whoa.
Been on this journey now for
Froze.
9 years together. We've had the greatest rallies in the history of our country. It's the greatest movement in the history of our country. And it's now coming to an end as we know it. It's coming to an end. In one way it's sad, in another way it's beautiful. I think it's going to come to a very successful end, and then a new period begins, and that's the next 4 years where we're going to make our country so incredible, and we're going to do it so fast. But there'll never be rallies like this. There'll never be. In 4 years, there'll be somebody come in and they'll call for a rally and they'll have 200 or 300 people. There's never been anything like this, not in history. And it's a great tribute to you and the love that you have for this country, and I will never forget it. I will never forget it. But now we have to finish it off. We have to finish it off with a big victory on November 5th, the biggest, I believe it'll be the biggest political event in the history of our country. That's how big it's going to be. Remember, we will be a nation in decline no longer from the day that happens. But we are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in, we will never give up, we will never ever back down, and we will never surrender. Together, we will fight, and win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. God bless you all. Good luck, fellas. Have a good life. Great people. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good life.
Thank you.
I don't know what that
I thought
Have
he
a
was
good
in
life.
Novi, Michigan tonight. That
No,
must have been
Pennsylvania.
yesterday. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
probably yesterday. I think that happened in Novi. But Michigan is very much in play. The New York Times is even reporting now, a month ago or so, the first Arab American mayor of Hamtramck, the first Muslim American mayor of Hamtramck, endorsed Trump like a month ago. Today, a Dearborn Mosque imam endorsed Trump. Now, if it's legitimate that they are supporting, or I don't know, this isn't
true.
this isn't my theory. Someone else I think has a good point. It could be, well, the Arab Muslim Americans are making a play for you must cater more to us next time. We see the writing on the wall. Trump is going to win, so we're going to throw you under the bus. And next time you need to earn, we'll come back, but you need to work to earn our vote. We want something. Again, I'm not saying that's what's happening or if it's earnest endorsements or not, but Trump won Michigan in 2016 by only 10,000 votes. And like Virginia and Texas, they're trying to keep illegals and whatnot on the voter rolls. So even if they cheat, Michigan is actually in play here.
Yeah, it's a critical state, no question. Yeah, but am I hearing you incorrectly? You're questioning whether the support from the Muslim leaders who have come out to endorse Trump, whether that's legit or sincere or something?
Well, it's legit. That's the question. Is it sincere or is it a play because this election is lost, and then this way, if you want us back, what are you promising us next election? I don't know. I am not taking a side on that speculation one way or the other. I am just saying those questions and that speculation that is out there.
You know, here's what's really happening with that. Ivanka is married to Jared Kushner.
Yep.
Jewish. She's converted to she's converted her religion. So his other daughter, Tiffany, do you know who she's married to? She's married to Michael Boulos, Muslim, connected to politics in Detroit. That's where this is coming from, you see. So he has married off daughters to both sides, like a king. And so he exerts influence in both worlds. And no, this is a very real thing. And so he was on October 7th in New York, meeting with Jewish leaders under the tent, right? And then he went to Michigan to meet with the Muslim leaders. When was that? Wasn't very long ago.
Yeah.
And then those endorsements came right after that.
Yeah.
This is what's in play. And there's a lot of business that goes on this way too, you see, because
well, that's what was mentioned, I think, not by the imam, but maybe the mayor, somebody, another Arab Muslim American.
All the way around. These are all very rich people on all sides.
Right. Yeah. As a business owner, and also whether who's married to whom, whatever, the Abraham Accords. Trump was bringing peace and stability. No matter what side you're on, peace and stability is a good thing.
And these marriages of his daughters to both sides can contribute to that. That's an old school, old world, ancient tradition for a king to marry off his daughters to, other powerful people that maybe are adversaries or allies, right?
Well, people would most normally recognize that more recently via the monarchy, right? I mean, I Prince of so-and-so, want to marry Princess of so-and-so to help bring our empires together.
Yeah. So that is what is in play in Michigan. He, I think, is well positioned there now, heading into the election. I think it's very, 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 very close as it was in 2016. Now he actually has the backing of some very prominent Muslim leaders in the Dearborn area, which is, of course, I think it's the largest Muslim diaspora in America, right?
Hamtramck, I think, is now, but Dearborn used to. But we have, regardless of one or two, which one is one and which one is two, we have the two largest enclaves of Arabs and Muslims outside the Middle East here. But what you were saying, even with that play, makes it Trump-specific, Trump-centric, and out the window after Trump's next term, limited to 2. So that what you're saying isn't countering that speculation.
No, not at all. Are you bold enough to make a prediction on Michigan? What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, at this point, the degree of cheat again is going to play.
Okay.
Whether they're going to, again, they will deny up and down about the voter fraud, but there's only one reason why the governor, the Secretary of State, and the AG are currently 5-4, or is it 4-3? 4-3. Michigan Supreme Court liberal activists are allowing illegal voters to stay on the roll. There is only one reason you would do that.
Are we going to get banned on YouTube for you talking like this? Are we allowed to say this stuff? Like, this is for entertainment purposes only, YouTube, okay? What Joseph is saying. And it's all speculation, even though it's complete fiction. Okay. Oh man.
Another thing about Michigan. I'm in Wyandotte. Hamtramck is a northern suburb of Detroit. I'm in Wyandotte, a southern suburb. He was in Novi the other day. Eric or Don Jr. or somebody, I didn't bother to look because older, slower, health issues. I don't want to be out in these crowds anymore. But somebody is coming to Wyandotte tomorrow. I haven't bothered to look because I wouldn't go anyway. I just don't want to hassle with those crowds. I'd rather come on and talk with you. I'd rather write a bazillion articles on Before It's News and the Liberty Beacon and reach people through my show. Other things I could do here from my ugly couch, if you see it under the green screen there.
So Trump kind of took it on the chin yesterday. He had a sort of he scored a touchdown, but then fumbled the ball because he did this 3-hour podcast with Joe Rogan, which people are like, it's huge ratings. It's the best interview ever. But then he was late getting to his rally in Michigan, and while he was en route, he posted this on social media, for which he is being heavily criticized, of course, by the Dems.
Just win, so I said, will they understand in Traverse City? Otherwise, I'll be very upset with myself. And I think you will. And it's a Friday night, so we can sit around. We'll do an extra special job when we get there. I think we land in about 2 hours. And we're stepping on the gas. But it's all about winning, and we had to spend some extra time with some people. and lots of people actually. But we are going to do a special performance, and we'll be there. And I think you'll see the plane land and the whole thing. And we really appreciate it. Hope you can stay around. We'll be about 2 hours. I should land around 10 or a little before that. And I appreciate it very much. We're going to have a good time tonight. See you in a little while.
You think that was a negative?
Well, I don't know. See, what the point that I was going to make here is that because of that, there were social media posts showing people walking out, and then the claim on the social media posts was people were upset, so they started to leave because they were tired of waiting for him because he was. The social media posts said 4 hours late. I don't know if that's true, not true. I don't know, but I know that like these things get exaggerated. This is what I mean. It's getting nasty out there, and it's even hard to know what's true because I know that it reminds me of posts that were coming out 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago, showing people walking out of Trump rallies. Same theme. But as I was watching it, I was like, this looks fake to me. Like, this is fabricated. This is fake news. But these were coming from, posts, like social media posts on X, Twitter. But I wasn't buying it then. I'm not sure. I didn't watch the speech last night, so I have no idea what happened.
Let me take off my partisan hat and put
you in your conspiracy theory hat.
No, my honest analyst hat.
Okay.
Did some walk out? Wouldn't surprise me.
Probably.
You're 2 hours late? Wouldn't surprise me. That surprises people, or there's people that, like you're saying, are going to fall for, oh my God, there was a mass exodus.
He doesn't care about his voters. He doesn't care about his supporters. He just came in late.
Yeah. That video shows reality and honesty and non-traditional politician. I'm sorry, I'm late. I'll be there soon. Hang in there. I'm on my way because, indeed, I couldn't pass up that platform. That's honest. I think that's a plus. That's a non-politician pulling back the corner, the covers and saying, look, I had to do that. I couldn't pass that up. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm late.
Did you watch the Rogan interview?
No, I haven't.
I didn't watch much of it either. I've seen clips, but I didn't sit through 3 hours of that. I don't know. Maybe I should have been more excited to see it. I don't know. Like everybody gets excited about Joe Rogan. Whatever. I'm kind of like whatever. But I can't. I don't know with Joe Rogan. I can't. You know what I can't get past with Joe Rogan is it when I watch him, I feel like I'm watching a political version of Wayne's World. It's like they're smoking dope and just talking kind of.
It's kind of like Behind Two Ferns.
It's just.
I saw.
I'm like, whatever.
I never watch Rogan because I know I'll see clips. Why should I bother to watch? I'll see the pro clips. I'll see the Trump derangement syndrome attack clips. Mm-hmm. I did see a clip on Newsmax where he was talking crime stats and the war on cops. And I think that was a good exchange because the left lies. Crime is down. No, it's not. The FBI tried hiding data, but it came out that cities like Chicago or Detroit, I don't know if those are officially two of them, but like blue enclave cities, because the FBI changed the reporting system, some of the blue enclave cities are not providing the statistical data, so it's skewed. But when you know that, if you were a journalist, not a propagandist reporter, you could check the police reports and see crime is through the roof, and the Soros DAs aren't prosecuting it. Again, to pretend that it's down when it's through the roof.
So here's Rusty Bumper in the chat. He says Rusty Bumper watched. Says I have must watch. So my question is, because I didn't see it, like what did I miss that was so riveting? Like what did Trump say in this interview that he hadn't said before? Because all these politicians, they just at this point in the game, they're kind of like just repeating the stuff over and over again. But it went for 3 hours, so I don't know. Was there something revelatory about it?
Well, I think it's important because Rogan in the past has said, "I will never have Trump on. He's not."
He did. He said that.
Yeah, he
Get
said
out of
that
here.
before. He
Really?
did. You can find it. And
Why wouldn't he have
you
Trump?
know-
Oh, but that was back when he didn't like Trump, probably.
but that's my point. And
Now he likes Trump.
I still don't think he's a big Trump guy. He just has loosened up and said,
I think
well,
he is. I think he is a
need
pretty
to
big
talk
Trump
to him."
guy now. He seems like a big Trump guy. He's in there with all the Trump supporters. I think he's kind of he's sort of shifted his entire view on it, I think.
Yeah. Well, maybe more so than certainly a Bill Maher. Like I talk about Bill Maher. You and I
Yeah.
think, or maybe it was Miss Liz and the Gray Areas episodes that you both did with me back to back on my show. Bill Maher is a leftist, will always be a leftist, and he
Yep.
says some occasional good things.
Yes.
That's because he's straining for any credibility. He
I
says
don't know.
something. He says something truthful, so then he can say 100 other lies about leftism.
I think
How
that
great it is.
you know what I get from Bill Maher is I think he is sincere. Whether you agree or don't agree, I think what he says at the time, I think he means it. That's what I get from him, which is not, I can't say that every media political personality out there is genuine in that way, but I get the sense from him that like he's not bought, he just says what he really thinks. I think he's genuine that way at least.
No, I will give you genuine and sincere in the framework of what I said.
Sure.
He is willing, like I said, to acknowledge some realities. But
Steve
the bottom
says
underlying thing to me is that he is begging for credibility where he would otherwise have none, or he wouldn't say that honest statement. Is he sincere? Is he truthful? Yes, but there's a motive under it.
Steve Robitaille says Rogan is more of a libertarian. Steve's usually got some pretty intelligent things to say, and I think that's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah, I again, we've talked, right? Indeed, I think Rogan is probably indeed more actual libertarian versus what the party has mostly become libertarians that only want
Libertarians,
pot,
yeah.
right? They only want pot. Like Carlin said, they
Yeah.
want people dumb, just smart enough to run the machines.
Did
but
Joe
dumb.
Rogan
They want-
offer any weed to Donald Trump last night?
I
It's kind of
doubt
this
it.
thing, right? Here,
But-
Donald, do you want to get high? Like, that's the thing with the Rogan program. Like, I don't know. I just,
So maybe he is more libertarian than actual libertarian. Because again, I mean, Carlin was right. And the libertarians are now all about that. It doesn't matter how they want people doped up and dumbed down also.
I really, people can again get upset with me if you want, but I think the whole drug thing, especially up here in Canada, is a problem. The legalization of weed, the general attitude toward drugs has become very liberal under Justin Trudeau. We have the CBC talking
Again,
about drugs as though it's like normalized. We have illegal stores where you now walk in, you can buy magic mushrooms, acid basically off the shelf. And these are not even legal, but they let them operate anyway. There's one not far from here. And you know what we have to go along with that we've never had in this country like this before. Never, ever had this in this town before. Tent cities. When I go down there, just people with drug problems. That is the driving force ultimately behind this because they become
A lot of it anyway,
they can't function, right? They can't hold down a job. They become addicted to various kinds of drugs. We've got a big drug problem. And I mean, I'm all about freedom too, and people making choices, but I don't think there's freedom in addiction.
Yeah. Well,
And what these policies, safe
today.
injection centers, all of this stuff that's coming along, just the
No.
whole ball of wax. This is bad.
Pot is infinitely more potent than when I was in high school. And yes, I smoked an occasional joint. Big difference between the then and the now. And commercials from people in Colorado running everywhere where ballot initiatives are to legal everything, but bread and circus, right? Exactly what Carlin said, exactly what I was just saying. Doped up and dumbed down, distracted.
Yeah, this is Valiant. We enjoy Richard's comedy. That's me. Everything in reality he is opposite from. All he puts forward with zero research. Okay, well, you come down with me because I've been there a few times, and I'm going to be doing, some more reporting directly from the tent cities in my hometown, of which we never had a single one until Justin Trudeau came along and just liberalized our drug laws, top to bottom, front to back, and it's everything I said. And like, I can see, all right, and I see the problem.
Well, Rick, obviously, and you're not saying everyone who does these drugs will become a tent city resident. We're not saying that, but this person's delusion, probably one of those libertarians, let's legalize everything so everybody's doped up and dumbed down.
And
they're in
alcohol
denial.
Too. Yes, the alcohol too, and this is a mixed message coming from government here. They don't drink and drive, but what have they done here just recently? They've started selling alcohol at the en route truck stops, rest stops on the side of the highway. Here. They advertise it. You can buy beer at the rest stop on the 401, right on Highway 401, and this is all the en routes. You can buy it there now and they're selling beer and wine. I guess I don't drink, so but they're selling it at the variety at convenience stores now, at the gas stations.
It's perfectly fine though, as long as you put the propaganda "drink responsibly" tag on it.
Rusty Bumper, no, not everyone in a tent city is a drug addict. No, probably not like 100%. But when I've been down there, yep. Okay, so that's not. I don't need a survey. I don't need to point to any study because I went down there and I talked to the people. All right, I know them. In my town, because I go down, I actually talk to the people.
Right.
And pretty much like 99%, if not 100% in my town have a drug problem. So deny if you want. And, no offense, Rusty Bumper, but that's the truth. And they tell me so themselves. They've got a problem.
I think you're both right to a degree, but I think you're more right than he is. What is that percentage?
And it's not, and I'm not saying, you know what? Right. It's a variety of drugs that they're the real problem with. Fentanyl is one of the biggest ones that is driving this in my town, which I never would have expected ever to see here, but here it is. This is not a big city. We've got a serious problem. A lot of this is drug related because people become unable to function. They can't work. They can't.
Hey,
this is a problem.
Stop whining. You don't have Haitians eating your cats and dogs.
Well, at least there's that. My dog seems to be fairly safe here in Chatham, Ontario.
I had to throw that in,
Yep. So, yeah. Yeah, and Rusty Bumper says, okay, not saying Major Brett, I'm just saying not everyone. Yeah, okay,
right.
yeah.
Right. I think we can all agree on
I
that.
think
Again,
we're pretty much in alignment. It's a big problem.
You're right. I think you're more right than his previous statement. I think we're on the same. What is that percentage? Who knows? And that day, maybe you run into more drug addicts. Maybe another day, there are just homeless people because of other reasons. That day.
But I'm grateful that I live here because at least our community is doing something about it. They are building a bunch of tiny homes for the people in the tent cities. And hopefully they're going to get them done before the snow flies. Now, I think that's not
never work.
Yeah, I know, but at least they're not going to die in the snow because I'm very worried about these folks because it's going to get cold within the next 2-3 weeks.
They
may
just
last. Intense.
They may last through the winter, but again,
this is
ghettos.
No good.
What were the not ghettos? What's the word I'm looking for? You know,
slums.
The big slums, the official term, whatever it was, the big buildings we build and let people be in. There's no respect. They don't respect it. They trash it because they don't earn it. They didn't put anything into it or for it. They destroy it. That's why they fall apart.
Yeah, well, we've got a problem. We need to find solutions. People need help. They need a hand up, not a hand out. And this is complicated by a lot of different things, from unaffordable housing to not enough employment opportunities at wages that provide people with enough to live on, to the drug problem, to mental illness, mental health issues, people not being able to get the meds that they need, other health issues that then come along, just all these things. So it's serious problem that is very complicated, and we need to find solutions. Hopefully, when we get Trudeau out of there, we'll get some common sense back and get on a path back to solutions.
I got the term. The projects. And it doesn't matter if it's a 30-story apartment complex or 30,000 tiny homes somewhere, it will be destroyed.
You know what they've done here in Canada in most places to sort of get out of that approach to the projects is they've integrated over time. This started really back in the 70s, 80s in many communities. It became policy. They take like a section of like townhomes,
rent
control stuff, but they put it right in the middle of like a middle class residential neighborhood, and then they kind of scatter it around. And I'm not sure, because you don't then get like concentrations of low income people all congregating together, feeding off each other, these social problems. You kind of have a neighbor that's more stable over here. So I mean, I do see some positive aspects to it, but
and you don't have foreign invader gangs taking over whole complexes.
Yeah. But there have been some other problems related to it, but I think it has been overall a fairly successful approach because it mitigates some of the negatives that you get from concentrating social problems in one area, and by who you associate with has an influence over your life too, right? So if your neighbor is a very successful person, maybe you're hearing about other opportunities, or this guy knows where this job is, or you're maybe not hanging out with people who have other problems and their problems rub off on you. Maybe that guy's saying, let's go golfing this weekend instead of let's go get another hit of heroin or something, right?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say it's certainly, and you didn't say it, you didn't use this word. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm saying I think it's not ideal, but it's certainly better than that disaster was.
Yes, yeah, it's true. Although, people get worried about property values and things like that too. So those are real legitimate issues. If you work hard, who wants to live right next to a potential social problem, right? This is an issue.
All right. I know
enough of this.
Social media will blow up. I'm a racist. No, you know why it's racist? is this.
You're a classist. You're a classist.
Yeah, well, maybe. Gentrification nonsense. You complained about white flight, but now that whites might come back and actually improve the neighborhood, that's now a problem too?
Well,
Hello?
we were speaking about the criticism leveled at Trump, and the social media claims that people were leaving his rally, which of course would really upset him because he's all about numbers and ratings. But it was right back that Kamala Harris was taking it on the chin too, because of her big rally where she had all these stars. I think Bruce Springsteen was there last night. She had Beyonce.
They were there to see the stars.
Yeah, 30,000 in the crowd.
Yeah.
That's the question. Were they there for Kamala or were they there for the star-studded,
Well,
guests?
no, it's like the Madison Square Garden thing.
Here.
The Kamala Harris rally in Houston, Texas was absolutely insane. You saw Beyonce and Kelly Rowland walked out. Kelly looked like Beetlejuice. And then after that, Kamala walks out, right? She gives him the hug, and everybody's so mad because they're like, what? Beyonce only spoke for 3 minutes? I thought we were going to get a free concert. Wait, what? What's going on? Wait, why is she hugging Kamala? I thought this was a concert. Oh, and then Kelly and Beyonce have a nice little moment, reminiscing. And then everybody realizes it was a bait and switch, and they walk their butts out. As soon as Kamala got on that dang stage, everybody was pissed off, rightfully so. They duped us. They duped the entire city of Houston, Texas. 30,000 pissed off people right before an election less than 2 weeks away. What is Kamala Harris thinking? It was a night to forget, I'll tell you that much. Kamala Harris should be ashamed.
But the Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden will be packed, that they're calling it, right? He's replicating the American Hitler supporters rally at another building that was called the Madison Square Garden, not this. Springsteen has played, I think, MSG more than any other person, so he must be a Nazi supporter, right? And they leave out the fact that the 1930s, those were Democrats that put on the Nazi rally. Again, it's projection.
And Trusty Bumper says, but they waited hours more for Trump. Yeah, well, they do that. Like, people wait in line for hours and hours and hours to get in. In fact, I've been. You mentioned Novi. I've been to a Trump rally in Novi, Michigan, and yeah, people wait for a long time to get in. Yeah.
I saw it on our local news. Indeed, they were there. I mean, at noon for a night rally. The noon news locally, cameras rolling, mile-long line.
So that being said, do you believe the polls that put the two of them neck and neck?
Well, I don't know what to think. Again, it's the cheating, it's the doping and dumbing of America. A lot of morons. Like on Nextdoor, which is like a Facebook app, I was on ART on Wham this morning. I'm talking about this. I see some great evidence that people are awakening from their woke stupor. But then I see, like on Nextdoor, a woman who cast a vote for Trump. Now, in a panic, can I get my ballot back and change it to the Kamala unit? Why? Because of the baby killer lies. Trump is going to create a nationwide ban. He can't do it. It won't happen. It would never survive a filibuster in the U.S. Senate. That's why they went through lawfare and the courts to get Roe v. Wade, because they couldn't get a nationwide pro-baby killer bill through a filibuster in the Senate. In Michigan, we had a constitutional amendment by ballot measure. That will be the only other thing that could undo what was done. So Alyssa Slotkin, Democrat for Senate, Mike Rogers, Democrat for Senate, doesn't matter what they said a week ago or a decade ago, irrelevant. Doesn't matter what Riley Relenting, whom I'm supporting for Michigan House here, or her opponent, Jamie Church's perfect name, Church of Satan, what they say about abortion, irrelevant. They have no say. The only change can be made through ballot initiative. But this dimwit doesn't know anything because we don't teach civics and falls for the lies.
Is it unconstitutional for Donald Trump to pass that law to make it illegal to burn the American flag and give people a year in jail if they do?
I'm glad you asked that question. For the most part, I would come down on the no. It would fall under the free speech. The issue then becomes...
We've had court cases like that have dealt with this, yeah.
Did you buy the flag that you're burning? Now, you can't rip down somebody's flag and burn it. Yeah. Then it's a property crime. So,
although theft of the flag might be part of the free speech, if you were...
It's a demonstration. It's a civil disobedience. You could argue it. I don't know that it would float, but you could argue it.
Or fly. Like a flag.
It shouldn't fly, right? But bum, right? Tip your waiters and waitresses on the way out.
Here's J.D. Vance on the campaign trail. Oh, hang on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I got the wrong one. Hang on. Wrong one. Wrong tab. Hang on. Let's flip it over here. Now let's listen to J.D. Vance.
Affected all over the world, and if you're voting for Donald Trump, you're voting for peace and prosperity and the American dream, and that's what all of us are voting for. So, let's talk a little bit about Kamala Harris's economic policies such as they are, because I think it's sometimes useful. People care about the details. I think the American media and certainly some of our political candidates assume that the American people don't care about the details at all. I think that's why whenever they ask Kamala Harris, well, what is your specific plan to lower the cost of food? She'll say, well, I grew up in a middle-class family. Or when they ask her, how are you going to actually bring peace and stability to the world stage? She'll say, I used to work at McDonald's and I made the hash browns and I was very good at it. And, I don't even know if I believe that, by the way. I think that maybe Donald J. Trump has worked at McDonald's for longer than Kamala Harris has. I don't know if you saw that. And to the media, that's just one man's opinion. I'm not certain, of course, but it's interesting that Kamala Harris can't answer any details about what she wants to do for the American people. So let's just compare and contrast. If you go on her website and look at her plans, you're going to get one of two things. The first thing you might get is an idea that Donald Trump came up with a week earlier. Because if you notice, she copies a lot from Donald J. Trump. It is plagiarism. Oh, that's a good point, sir. I forgot about that. One thing I bring to the table, my friends, is that unlike Kamala Harris, I actually wrote my own book, whereas Kamala Harris plagiarized hers. That's a difference. But we also, on the Trump campaign, we actually wrote our own policy proposals, whereas Kamala Harris just steals them from President Donald J. Trump. Now, a few
no tax on tips. She
Donald
stole that.
Trump was actually talking to some.
She wants to build a wall
in
now.
Nevada, and he was talking about how the IRS goes after people who are, some of them are barely making it. Some of them are doing okay, but not great. But he said, why is the IRS harassing you for your tips wages? We'd probably save more money and give you a pay increase if we just said no tax on tips. And so Donald Trump came out with that policy, no tax on tips, and we're going to fight to make that happen. We're going to fight to eliminate taxes on overtime, because that's another important thing. If you're working hard or you're working extra, you ought to be able to benefit from it. And another thing that we are going to do, of course, is that we're going to close the border. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Kamala Harris has copied all three of those proposals, though maybe she's only copied two of the three. But I was talking to the president a few weeks ago. I said, sir, I figured out what's going on. She thinks that you're going to get elected the next president, and she's auditioning for my job. That's why she keeps on copying you. And I think that tomorrow, actually, at her rally, she's going to come out in a Navy suit and a red MAGA hat and try to just confuse the people to vote for her, because clearly she doesn't have any ideas of her own. So that's one category of Kamala Harris ideas, the one that she steals from Donald J. Trump. Here's a second category of Kamala Harris ideas, the ones that just don't make any sense, okay? Because think about this. If you want to create broad-based prosperity, not just for the workers in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but if you want to lower energy costs for every American consumer, what you ought to be doing is opening up American energy. Drill, baby, drill. And that's the most important proposal.
Okay. So, comment? Anything?
Oh, I'm glad you played that. I jotted down a couple notes. Let me take off my Republican hat again and put on my honest journalist hat. He said prosperity for all. Trump has said that. Jobs for everybody, right? Hyperbolic. Unless if you're actually a commie fasci shoshi who's going to take over all aspects of the economy and can force companies to hire people for featherbed, do-nothing jobs, you cannot and will not ever have 100% employment and prosperity for everybody. But honest, reasonable people understand that's political hyperbole. People who want jobs will have better opportunity. That's another thing Kamala stole. You hear her all the time, right? Opportunity economy. She stole that from Tim Scott, who worked in with the House to create opportunity zones that Trump signed. It's another theft. But,
she's a political plagiarist. My goodness. You know, but you know, talking about nasty, Joseph, I did notice these photos that are supposed to be of Kamala Harris on where else? X/Twitter. And they are images of her in these very revealing dresses. And the caption is, never forget how she got her start. So this is what's going around.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen that. Yeah.
And oh, well. And then there's the video of her out there when she's out on what appears to be maybe a date with Montel Williams. Yeah, and Brown, yeah. And it says here that these are fake, that they're not real photos of her.
No, but I've seen the video of her at the Willie Brown event. And the reporter asked her, "Are you Willie Brown's daughter?" And she cackles, of course. "No, I'm just a fan or a supporter or whatever." No. You were sucking your way up the ladder.
This here, I don't think that's Kamala Harris at all. People are saying it's her, but it's not. That doesn't look like her at all. The face isn't right. Could be a mask.
Oh God, yeah. Let's go there. No, but what again? Does a meme have to be 100% factual to make the point? No. If this is doctored, altered, Photoshop, AI created, whatever,
is that unfair?
It still makes the point. We all know what went on with Willie Brown.
If somebody puts a picture of me up in a thong, okay, I do not own one.
No,
so is that fair?
There's no valid connection to anything with that fake photo.
Look, Rick wore a Speedo at the... no, sorry, too graphic for people. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well, let me go back to
I have to say, I don't think it's fair. I don't think that's right. To post pictures like that are not true. You're trying to say that she's, right? And no, I don't think that's right. That's a lie.
Say AI generated or, photoshopped but making the point.
That's nasty.
Yeah, now let me go back to J.D. Vance.
On many levels.
He worded it better than Trump does, right? We will work for this tax cut. We will work for that, right? There is no way in hell. Again, putting the honest journalism and knowing our system, no way in hell all these tax cuts are getting through Congress. Period. Now, we will at least be able to talk about, entertain, and get something through Congress. But all of that, no. Again, political hyperbole, and intelligent people understand the difference. Dummies, unfortunate, doped up, dumbed down morons don't.
What else do we have going on tonight? Oh, the Archbishop too. I mean, he's getting involved in the nastiness.
Unlike the nincompoop, who I wouldn't surprise me if tomorrow he endorsed the Kamalianists, because he's more interested in worldly communism than biblical community and Catholicism.
Let me see here. Let me find you.
And I saw the conclave the other day. It's like a Dan Brown thing. You know, great entertainment, but if you're expecting it all to be tied to actual reality, you're nuts.
Where is it here?
But yeah, I saw that too. And finally, somebody willing to challenge the nincompoop and say, no.
Here it is. I've got it.
Christianity does not support communism.
So this guy, I didn't realize he was this active politically, but you know, he posts from time to time, and this is Archbishop Carlo Vigano, and this is his open letter to American Catholics, and in this letter,
this needs to be the next pope.
He says that he basically says that if you're committing a sin if you vote for Kamala Harris. He says in here, he basically compares her to Satan.
Yep.
Like the real thing.
I saw that. Yeah. He, like me, is a Pope John Paul II type real Catholic, real Christian.
You think so? I don't know. This guy, I don't know if he doesn't remind me of Pope John Paul II. I got to cover the Pope, actually, at one point when he came to Detroit.
Well, he's
Pope John Paul II.
He's more John Paul II than he is nincompoop Francis.
Oh, he's certainly not Pope Francis. It says here, dear faithful American Catholics, I am addressing all of you a few days before the presidential election that will call millions of American citizens to the polls. Even in conditions of relative normality, the exercise of the vote is your moral duty, through which you cooperate in the first person in choosing the person who will lead the nation for the next 4 years. But in this coming electoral round, just as in 2020, and indeed much more so, you are not simply called to choose between two candidates who happen to be on different political sides, but on who both nevertheless have the common good at heart in compliance with the Constitution and the law. No. In this election, you must choose between two radically opposed ways of conceiving the government of your nation. You are called to choose between democracy and dictatorship, between freedom and slavery. Those are extreme words, really, especially coming from an archbishop. On one side, we have candidate Donald J. Trump, who, despite serious problems in his positions, especially in the matter of abortion and assisted procreation, has as his objective the common good and the protection of the fundamental freedoms of citizens. In Donald Trump's America, every Catholic can practice their faith and educate their children in it without interference from the state. On the other side, we have a candidate and a party that promotes everything that directly opposes the faith and morals of the Catholic Church. In Kamala Harris's America, Catholics, but also Protestants, are considered fundamentalists to be marginalized and eliminated. And their children are considered the property of the state, which arrogates to itself the right to lead them astray from an early age in both body and soul. Trump's America can become great and prosperous again. Harris's America is destined for invasion and for moral, social, and economic destruction, the most ferocious dictatorship. It goes on. He's not pulling punches here at all.
No, and I think a little of that may be heated over top, a bit hyperbolic, but ultimately, bottom line, I don't disagree with it. Yeah, war to the states. Again, Department of Education, that was the whole point. Dumbed down, war to the state. You have no parental rights. They own your children. You just birth them, the ones they don't convince you to kill.
As a birthing person,
right?
You know what? I was just saying the other night that I want to have more kids. I would wish we'd had more kids. I'll just do it myself. I'm going to get pregnant.
Well, I saw the movie Conclave, and there, spoiler alert, there's that twist at the end, as you're alluding to, because of course it's Hollywood attacking Catholics again.
Yeah, here's Mr. Walls on the campaign trail being heckled. I haven't seen this clip, but I bet you this is nasty too. Are you ready?
Miss Janet, if you're nasty.
Here he
Miss
is.
Jackson, I mean, right? Yeah.
Somebody's trying to. Here's a nasty heckler heckling the heck out of Tim Walls.
Get our little ones up, and you start to get them. You take our little ones. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about freedom. Get our little ones up.
I don't know what the heckler is even saying.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. That takes me to the Kamalunist admitting reality out loud of the atheist, anti-Semitic, anti-American, anti-Christian Democrat Party. Heckler, right? Christ is king, Jesus is Lord, and she says, you're at the wrong rally. Just like the convention, it was Obama or Hitler, I don't remember which, where they removed God from their platform and then went on to deny God 3 times. Not coincidental. They held a vote to put God back in the platform. The convention delegates clearly said, no. Guy comes out from behind stage on the 3rd vote, whispers in his ear, and he bangs the gavel. Motion passed. Not because they care about God, but they have to have God in the platform to sucker and fool morons.
Jason Craig just comes out and says, Kamala Harris sucks. Yeah, that's it.
Figurative and potentially literal.
See, Rusty Bumper and I are absolutely on the same page. We've found common ground. He says, I'm right. We men should just get ourselves pregnant. It just makes more sense. It's way easier. You save a lot. You save a lot of money too, because there's none of the courting. Save a lot of money on movies and dinners, right? And all the.
Well, speaking of movies, again, Rusty, you'll love Conclave because, again, there's the leftist agenda of hermaphrodites and men can get pregnant rather than it being a 1 in a bazillion DNA abnormality. It's not normal. But, yeah, you'll love Conclave because Hollywood insists on putting the men can get pregnant twist through an abnormality in that movie.
Alicia says best was the chant, we want Trump at a Harris rally. I didn't hear that, but
it's what it sounded like to me too, but I'm sure it wasn't. But no, maybe some MAGA infiltrated and started saying that. I don't know.
And It My World saying, why Maverick News don't have super chat? Because people said things on the show that YouTube doesn't like. So we've been demonetized like forever. And that's why. We were monetized for a very short time, and then they shut that down. So, yeah, we've never been able to get remonetized.
Which is why we need you to buy the Trump Fight shirt to help fund Maverick. Run the ad. You need to run the ad again.
Okay, I'll do that. And you can also support the program. Thank you for bringing it up, actually.
I can use a bathroom break, so let's run the ad.
Sure, let's do that. And, you can. Here's how you can support the program. Hang on. I'll bring it up. And Where did it go? Well, there it is right there. Okay, this is how.
He's a fighter. He's a survivor. President Trump, defiant, strong. He is determined to make America great again. Pay tribute to the 45th President of the United States with this collectible t-shirt from the Maverick News Memorable Moments collection. Even a would-be assassin's bullet could not stop him. Instead, he emerged with his fist in the air ready to fight. For freedom. Get your Trump Fighting for Freedom t-shirt with any donation of $30 or more to Maverick News. There are 2 iconic artistic designs to choose from. But there is only one way to get these. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Support free speech. Free media. Support Maverick News. Call 1-866-248-1490 or order online at supergeeks.tv.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
Okay, let's bring Joseph back here. Here he is.
Yeah, I was just joking with you in the private chat. Thank you for letting me play director. Take camera 1, cue the ad, go to ad.
People are all in on this whole idea of me getting pregnant. It seems to be very popular. I had no idea I was onto something there. We should do something with this. We could have like a whole, I don't know.
So you're not pregnant? It's just the camera puts on 10
Well, it's plan. This is Planned Parenthood. I'm planning on getting pregnant all by myself.
How dare you play on Planned Slaughterhood like that? I know. There's no planning of parenthood or family there. It's all about killing parenthood and family.
You know what? Why don't you tell us how you really feel? Okay?
I tone it down for your broadcast, right?
Oh, brutal. This is brutal.
Well, you want it nasty.
You know, there you go. It's nasty. That's nasty, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I lived up to the title.
Wow. Well, I don't know, man. We've been talking a lot about the election here tonight. This is another one that went viral, and I don't know why this is getting so much attention. This is a Kamala campaign worker, and I don't know what this really is, but everybody's looking at. It's gone viral. Here, I'll show you, just so you know what I'm.
I'm not sure if it's the one I've seen or not.
Oops, not that one. I don't want that one. Not that one. Not that one. This one here. Here we go. Have you seen this one?
No, I haven't seen that one. Oh, no, wait a minute.
Kamala Harris campaign volunteer or something, and she's going to yell at this little kid in a stroller. Here, watch.
Is it, yeah, her. I've seen her. Yeah.
What is that?
I've seen her in another viral video.
What is it? I don't get it. What is that?
Why weren't you aborted if she was a true
Why
Democrat?
weren't you what?
Right?
What
Why
is
weren't
that?
you aborted? I'm sure she must have been saying.
Is that what she was saying?
I
have no idea what she was saying. Let me see if I can find
I'm
it.
making it up to make a point about the pro-baby killer satanic cult party.
What is this? Let me see if
I
I
don't
can
know
find
what
it.
you said there, but I have seen her in a different viral video. I don't remember something about actually Kamala to a degree because of like the reports out of the VP office constantly leaked. She's shit to work for. She's a real bitch. Nobody wants to talk to her. She's not a nice person. She's nasty. No one wants to work for her.
I don't know what this is even about.
I don't know on that one.
I don't know what she was screaming, but people are trying to make something out of that. This is getting nasty.
Well, you could tell by the reaction of all the people around that, though. They immediately, whatever she said to this child, I don't see how any of it. The child looked relatively calm. It wasn't as if the child was throwing a tantrum and this dumbass decided, well, I'll yell at the kid and maybe shut it up. That doesn't look like anything happened there.
I don't know what this is. That's just okay. So it's nasty and weird, and that's coming from the Democrat side, I guess.
Yeah,
they're trying to connect her to the Harris campaign anyway. They say she's a longtime Democrat.
Again, I seen her in another video.
Yeah.
She works with the Kamala Yunus campaign in some way, shape, or form, and she's caught on camera in an honest moment talking about, indeed, Kamala is a bitch. Nobody wants to work for her.
Well, it's weird. It's weird. What can I say?
Word back.
Oh, here's this one. Okay, this is on Twitter, X, right? Trump is literally Hitler, but we put the Hitler quotes in Comic Sans to make it funny. This is from The Daily Show, I guess. They put this together. I don't want to run it because we'll get a copyright strike, but
yeah,
that's The Daily Show, which that's pretty nasty.
It's funny that you mentioned that because just before I was coming on, I threw together a Before It's News piece because Fascist Book is claiming I infringed on somebody's copyright. Of course, no details, no verification, no question of whether I might have permission to use it or not. No, any excuse to suspend it again, of course.
And here's one of those posts, and I'll show it to you, and you can tell me if you think this is real or fake. Of people were told leaving the Trump rally in Michigan yesterday early because Trump was so late. So they weren't really leaving early. They were leaving because he was late. So they were leaving late because he was late, or so they say.
I could buy that. Yeah. Oh, that many people? I doubt it. It's like the other rally. They're showing clips of that, right? Trump interrupted his rally because he didn't want to talk to more. He's exhausted. He just played music and did his stupid dancing. There was a medical emergency. So he stopped the rally and said, play music over while they take care of this medical emergency. But they're playing it. Of course, lie. Now, a few people leaving, yeah, I could buy. I don't buy that video that they were leaving the middle of it. Now, that may have been filmed at the end of the rally when people are starting to walk out, and then they're claiming it as something else.
Is the Trump dance a pro or a con, a positive or a negative for his campaign? In your opinion, in your educated opinion?
I think it's silly, but a lot of people, and I can understand it, it's a humanizing thing, and that's not a bad thing, to humanize them a bit. And it rather silly, rather stupid, but a folksy, likable side is important, especially when they're trying to demonize you as Hitler. Hitler danced too. Hitler danced.
Well, there you go. That's proof right there that he's the second coming. Okay, let's listen to some of the podcast.
I always come up with the same answer. If the one mistake, because I had a lot of success, great economy, great everything. Everything was great. We the military, we rebuilt it, biggest tax cuts in history. All this stuff we did. we had a great presidency. 3 Supreme Court justices. Most people get none. You know, you pick them young. This way they're there for 50 years, right? So, you know, even if a president is there for 8 years, oftentimes they never have a chance. I had 3. It was sort of the luck of the draw. But I will say that it always comes back to the same answer. The biggest mistake I made was I picked some people. I picked some great people, you know, but you don't think about that. I picked some people that I shouldn't have picked. I picked a few people that I shouldn't have picked.
Jeff Sessions.
And
neocons?
Yeah, neocons, or bad people, or disloyal people, or
people that were just
people
bad,
that were into the
you
people
got
that
bad advice.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, you're reading about him a little bit today. A guy like Kelly, who was a bully, but a weak person. You know more about bullies than anybody probably around because you deal in a certain sport where the bullies are exposed very quickly.
Yeah.
But he's bad. Bolton was an idiot, but he was great for me because I'd go in with a guy like a John Bolton. You know John Bolton. A friend of mine called me up. I was picking Bolton. He's a very smart guy. His name is Phil Ruffin. He's a very rich guy from Las Vegas. He's a great card player. He doesn't play cards, but he's a great player. You know, he's just a natural. Got poker sense, right? You know, the good old poker sense. And Phil Ruffin is a very, very wise kind of a guy, and one of the richest people around, and has had great success and understands people. So it was in that I was picking Bolton, or I picked Bolton. He called up. He said, "Don't pick him. Why? He's a bad guy." Now, he wasn't in politics at all. He's in various businesses. He said, "He's a bad guy. He's just, it always works out bad with that guy." I said, "Oh, man, I wish you told me this 2 weeks ago. I already hired him. You know, he's here." And he was right. But he was good in a certain way. He's a nut job. And every time I had to deal with a country, when they saw this whack job standing behind me, they said, "Oh, man, Trump's going to go to war with us." He was with Bush when they went stupidly into the Middle East. They should have never done it. I used to say it as a civilian. So I always got more publicity than other people, and it wasn't like I was trying. In fact, I don't know exactly why. Maybe you can tell me why.
Oh, I could definitely tell you. You said a lot of wild shit.
Maybe.
You said a lot of wild shit, and then CNN, in all their brilliance, by highlighting your wild shit, made you much more popular.
Yeah.
And they boosted you in the polls because people were tired of someone talking in this bullshit, pre-prepared politician lingo. And even if they didn't agree with you, they at least knew whoever that guy is, that's him. That's really him.
So, what do you think?
Yeah, by way of example, Jeff Sessions, I thought would be a great pick for AG. Trump appointed him. Turned out to be a major disaster. The point is, you're bound to have some bad apples get in. You know, for whatever reason, they're different than what they're packaged as X, and all of a sudden they turn out to be Y instead. So, you know, good choices, bad choices, that's inevitable. I've had problems with some Trump picks, like Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania last cycle. The Oprah windbag guy, really, who still said Oprah windbag is a trusted advisor of him? McCormick, the guy who should have won last time, is running this time, might take the Senate seat in Pennsylvania. Oz had no chance, but Trump, I think, said, hey, celebrity. It worked in part for Reagan. It worked in part for Trump. Let's try it in the Pennsylvania Senate seat, right? You've got the name recognition, which matters, and he should bring in money, which matters. But no, he flopped.
Do you think that he has learned his lesson? Or,
not entirely.
I mean, Trump, because, like, what do you think of some of the people around him right now?
Yeah, no, and I'll give you a perfect example here in Michigan. Pete Hoekstra, as I call him, he was an ambassador to wherever for Trump. Perfectly fine. A safe ambassadorship seat, great. But he's a CINO. He's a fraud. But yet Trump backed him in an illegal convention coup to overthrow the chair of the Michigan Republican Party because Jokestra is sucking up to Trump wanting another job. So they engage in an illegal coup. You can't complain about election 2020 and then hold an illegal coup in the MIGOP. I don't go for that. Jokestra has got to go because he engaged in illegal fraud.
You talk for a minute. I'm going to see if this is a call coming in.
Okay. Yeah, but the whole Jokestra thing, it was liberal activist courts. Again, I said 4-3 earlier, Michigan Supreme Court controlled by liberals. So the liberal activist courts upheld the illegal convention held by only certain few delegates illegally, an illegally called convention. He was not elected chair by all delegates at a proper convention, but the Michigan liberal courts upheld it because they want to meddle in our party and they want us to look as stupid as them and having basically an election fraud in our party.
John Rimby's on the line. Go ahead, John from Alberta. Give us a Canadian perspective.
Good evening, gentlemen, from oil-rich Alberta, third largest oil reserves in the world. My friend Leonard, where have you been, bro? You've been missing in action. He can hear me. I can hear you.
Yeah, you can't hear him, but he can hear you.
Yeah, anyways, love and kisses from Alberta, Western Canada. Hey, Rick, a suggestion, Leonard and Rick. Have you guys thought about doing an election night, Maverick News election night?
Oh, well, we'll absolutely have to do that.
I'm already committed to Blog Talk Radio.
No, Joseph, no. Blog Talk Radio? Hang on a second, John. Just a second, John. I have to. No, you can't do Blog Talk Radio.
You know I co-host as Jokester Joe Savage Unfiltered sometime. We're doing Blog Talk Radio that night.
Okay, well then we have to do a joint thing.
Hey, sounds good to me.
We'll do something together. How about that? Because we have to have you on election night in some way. So we'll have to dip into your cast or something, and then have you guys intersperse over here for a moment at least. So, yeah. What do you think, John?
Hey,
Joseph.
Can you do me a favor, bro? I love your USA shirt on tonight. Can you get me a 3XXX for me? You're just missing the Maverick News logo on the other side of the USA shirt there, my friend.
You just prompted him to get up, walk off screen, and go and I guess find one for you or something. I think he went down to Macy's to see if he can pick one up wherever he bought that USA shirt. Anyway, what are your thoughts tonight on the nastiness of the election campaign, John?
Okay, well, one thing, Rick, Joseph, I've been waiting to tell you, my friend, Joseph Leonard.
Yeah.
For a month now.
Joseph can't even hear you. He doesn't even have his headphones on. Because of what you said, he got up and left. Anyway, just tell us what you think of the election. Go.
There's a new term, the LGBTQ, Joseph. It means it's a new term. Let's get Trump back quickly.
Yeah. I've heard different variations.
Well, I think the nastiness, my guys, it's going to continue. I told you guys 60 days ago, buckle your seatbelt. We're on the roller coaster of elections. Mm-hmm. And I think 10 days left, I think it's going to get even dirtier. But I do think, too big to rig, I think our man Trump, secret voters are going to come out at the 12th hour. And they're going to put the X on Donald J. Trump. And we're going to secure 285 electoral college votes. That's my prediction, Rick. 285, Leonard. 285, not 270. Need 270 in the White House. We're going to get 285.
Well, I hope Kyrus from the Gutfeld show is right. That indeed people are just, again, lying to the polls. And again, with what's going on in Dearborn and Hamtramck, it could be a landslide. But like 80 and 84, we need down ballot votes to get control of the Senate to get anything done through Congress. And the shirt, I am webmaster. I volunteer to be webmaster for the Taylor Republican Club. So the TRC bought me the shirt as a gift for volunteering to put up their website.
Did you get that USA shirt at Macy's?
I don't know where she got it. Yeah, again, it was a gift.
Well, so you think Trump's going to get reelected, do you, John? You're confident about that?
I'm confident we're going to secure, guys, the 270. Plus, I think we're going to end up at the end of the day, the dust settles. I think we're going to be sitting at 2 or 285 electoral college.
And you know what I'm surprised by? I'm surprised we're not seeing more disruption and violence in the streets. I think we saw a lot more in 2016 than we are seeing now. I think we saw a lot more in the election between Trump and Biden than we're seeing right now. I'm not seeing that, which I'm grateful for, but I'm surprised we're not getting more, BLM, Antifa, anti-Trump stuff.
If Trump wins, we will.
You think so? Yeah.
They'll be burning, looting, and murdering again.
What do you think, John? Why aren't we seeing more just chaos in the streets right now?
Trying to downplay the violence.
Rick, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I don't know. I'm really glad we haven't seen it. I hope people have smartened up and are acting in a responsible adult manner. America's so divided, Joseph. It's worse than the English and the French in Canada, my friend. I mean, I'm just sad that America is so divided. It's almost like, Rick and Joseph, there's two different countries in the United States of America. There's one side for the Dems, one for Republican, and there's a few in there for the Libertarians. But it's deeply, deeply divided, and I don't know where it's going to go, guys. I don't think it matters who gets in. I mean, it does matter who gets in, but you talk to any gold or silver coin dealers in the U.S., they're all pulling for Trump. They say, when I drop dead and die, please don't vote Democrat for me. I'm a Republican.
Gold and silver coin dealers are rooting for Trump?
Oh, big time, because he's total economy. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, but wouldn't they want somebody in there who causes more chaos and disruption because then you'd get higher gold and silver prices?
Well, you're going to get higher, but she's going to create civil war, Harris. Comrade.
I think, I don't know. It seems to me like if he gets elected, we might get a civil war anyway. But hang on a second here. We're gonna, I'm gonna run the promo so other people can see how they can call into the program tonight. Hang on. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. 1-519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. Okay, we're back. Oh, you were showing us your torso there.
Yeah,
we had another call coming in.
Before we go to the caller, you can't. The fascocrats have a leash on burn, murder, Antifa, and others because you can't be literally calling Trump Hitler and have your Hitlerian brown shirt, El Duce black shirt, thugs burning, looting, and murdering in the streets. It shows who the fascists really are.
Okay, hang on a second here. You know what? I'm going to see if I can get this other caller back on the line. So let me just run this again. And again, anybody who donates $30 or more tonight at freedomreporters.com, I'll send you either a Maverick News t-shirt or a Trump Fight or Trump Fighting for Freedom t-shirt.
He's a fighter. He's a survivor. President Trump, defiant, strong. He is determined to make America great again. Pay tribute to the 45th President of the United States with this collectible t-shirt from the Maverick News Memorable Moments collection. Even a would-be assassin's bullet could not stop him. Instead, he emerged with his fist in the air ready to fight. For freedom. Get your Trump Fighting for Freedom t-shirt with any donation of $30 or more to Maverick News. There are 2 iconic artistic designs to choose from. But there is only one way to get these. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Support free speech. Free media. Support Maverick News. Call 1-866-248-1490 or order online at supergeeks.tv.
Okay, no, we couldn't get that call back. Maybe the caller will call back on their own. All right, sorry about that, caller. But we're back with Joseph live. And if anyone would like to call in and join the program, you can do that at 1-519-401-1373. 519-401-1373. Express yourself.
While we're waiting on a caller, I want to talk about more projection by the left. It is, again, Elon. Oh my God, the richest man in the world is trying to help Trump buy the election.
Yeah. True.
This happens every election.
It's true.
Look, they outspend us 2-1. This cycle, it's 3-1. Soros, Gates, Warren Buffett, Zuckerbucks, all their billionaires through PACs and illegal activity exposed going on at Act Blue. People are being found out to have donated $5 100,000 times. You call them? No, I didn't give any money.
Is it even legal? And are you comfortable with this?
Under Citizens United, I am very comfortable because your money is an extension of your speech and your property. You cannot limit what I want to spend on somebody else. It's my money, my choice.
Hang on a second here. Hello, this is Rick. You're on the air. Oh, hang on.
Manitoba. And I'm just enjoying the conversation between yourself and Joseph.
Yeah, sorry, you have to introduce yourself again because you were clipped off at the very beginning. So please introduce yourself to the audience again.
Oh, hi, I'm Sharon. I'm calling from Manitoba.
Well, great to have you on the program. And
I'm glad you picked up, and I was just calling to let you know that I'm enjoying the exchange between yourself and Joseph and just the whole, just all the range of topics you're dealing with concerning, well, I guess right now, specifically the election, but it's quite the how to describe it? A madhouse, a circus, a roller coaster. It's just, I guess, with elections and politics, anything goes.
It is nasty. It's nasty this time. It's nasty. It is. It's a blood sport.
It is a blood sport.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm going to give the electorate, I'm going to give the citizens, the everyday person benefit of the doubt to just stop for a moment, no matter where their news is coming in from. And I do appreciate your perspective on how we view the news, and also with Joseph to be skeptical, not to the point where I don't trust anymore, but just to be discerning and just look at what each candidate is proposing, and is this something that could work in my life or works in my family's life, and is it the same type of values? And I think it comes down to, maybe that's what it is too. I think this is a crucial, it seems, election, in the sense of what is it that we as a society value and want for our future, and also in the present day. We can see what's not working in the present day, how everything seems to be falling apart.
And you're out there in Brandon, Manitoba, and I hear a lot of people saying we should stay out of these foreign wars and just pay attention to what's going on here at home. So I'll extend that here and say, why do you care what goes on in the United States? And I think the answers are pretty obvious, but you just want to elaborate on that a little bit. Why do you care so much, as I do?
Well, that's a good question. I
put her on the spot.
I think because we're so. I think it's because we're so connected now in the sense of immediate news, immediate reaction, immediate feedback, and I think because of the powers that be, where there's such a concentration of power amongst certain groups or organizations, I think the impact is global. Even though the decision is made locally or regionally or countrywide, it seems that the decisions or choices made by the most powerful office in the world does have a ripple effect amongst the rest of the Western countries especially. But we do, I think, collectively, I think we in the West have a responsibility as to what has happened to other countries that don't share our values or just have a different belief system. I think, in essence, I think I'm indirectly responsible perhaps for the suffering of other citizens in other countries indirectly, because of perhaps maybe my naivete when it came to issues concerning conflict or war, how conflict was resolved in the past. It's not resolved with a bullet or a bomb. I think it's what you've been promoting for the longest time, where it's essential or important to work toward peace and solutions and agreements and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't get everything I want, but there's compromise.
Right.
And it's coming back to bite us hard if we don't change, if we don't have a different type of outlook on what role I play, what role Canada plays, or what role America plays, and those who come from a Judeo-Christian background.
Yeah, but you know what? I agree with what you're saying. At the same time, the other powers in the world, the real powers, they need to come to the table in good faith as well. And I'm not so sure that they do a lot of the time. Even now, I see, because it only works if everybody works together.
Yeah.
And it has to be genuine on all sides. And I think that we in the West, in particular, especially after World War II, we've been thrust into this position of trying to maintain peace and security, given that responsibility, because especially the United States was, for a time, even the sole nuclear power, and then one of two superpowers. And, we've been damned if we do, damned if we don't, all the way along the line. It doesn't matter what we do. Our adversaries, blame. And we've made a lot of mistakes, Iraq being one, right? Just a bad mistake. But at the same time...
Interrupt you for a moment. You pointed this out in the past too, and I should just give myself a slap on the side of the head, because there has to be a give and take, and there has to be, you're right, you're absolutely right. This is something perhaps I'm not even aware of until right now at this moment. There has to be an acknowledgement of responsibility by the other side.
And just, in fact, you know what? Yes.
They failed to do.
And just case in point, just this past week, UN Secretary General goes to the BRICS summit, literally hugging, embracing Russian leaders, right? But would not go to the Ukrainian peace summit. So, this is, I would say there's a lot of corruption right within the United Nations. This is an organization that's not working for the world. And it's very anti-Western right now, anti-American, anti-capitalism, anti-freedom. This is because you have so many countries in there that are corrupt themselves. They don't believe in the values that we hold dear, and they're working against us. And so we need those guys to come to the table in good faith too. We can't, it's not all on us. So
now you tell them what for, Rick. You tell them how the cow ate the cabbage. That's right.
It's true. It's true. Right?
No, that's very true. That's very true. But I'm enjoying the exchange. I'm enjoying the different topics politically you're touching on, and I just wanted to call in and say my 2 cents, and I appreciate you taking my call.
And you know what? You're also absolutely right, because we must hold ourselves to the highest standard and lead by example, and not get sucked into the abyss when we're staring into darkness ourselves. Can't let that happen. And I think we've allowed that to happen on too many occasions when we pick the lesser of two evils. We'll get into bed with that dictator because it serves our purpose at the time, and we have to serve the greater good, and we see it as pragmatic. And I think maybe what we should be doing is saying no to this and no to that, and just holding out for what is proper and correct and ethical and right for people. And that's why we make mistakes. That's why we've made mistakes. I think sometimes we try to do the best we can and end up falling into traps.
Yeah.
And then we get blamed. So that's a big mistake. So I think you're absolutely right in that regard. So we have to do better.
Well, that's true. That's true. And yeah, that's good to keep in mind. It's just good to keep in mind that I'm still here in Canada, working. I'm living within a Canadian system of law, warts and all. But the nice thing about living here in this country or in this side of the world is that change is always possible. Different choices can be made, as opposed to no choice at all. Or
yes.
This is just the way it is. Live with it.
Yeah, and
I appreciate that too.
Yeah, and as damaged as our democracy is, we must preserve it, because if we do not, then the only way to facilitate change is through violence and violent action.
That's right. And no thanks. No thanks. Because I remember not long ago when you ran that clip about this crazy communist, fascist lady yelling at the top of her lungs through a bullhorn of some type on the
Death
stairs
to Canada. Death to Canada.
In Vancouver,
Yeah, you can't compromise with that.
Upon ourselves and other countries, and the U.S. and Israel. And when you ran that, and when I heard that and I saw that, I just couldn't believe I was witnessing this in Canada. And I thought, I remember a while back, maybe this is when I was talking to you a while back, and you were kind of saying at that time, we have perhaps invited or allowed in certain groups or ideas where it's the oceans don't protect us any longer, and some of this real extreme, radical, extremist type of views that I watched on television, where I saw these battles between people in different countries that were not the ones the one I'm living in. It's being imported here, and that's what just, when I witnessed that at that library, on those library steps in Vancouver, I thought, wow, it's arrived. It's come here. This type of violent
Yeah. No, that's a very important point.
View, and that's what kind of shocked me. So, I'm hoping that we all take a deep breath and stop and think about what we're doing and how we're treating each other and how we speak with each other. And
yes.
It's pretty wild. But, that's kind of off topic with the election. I guess it is.
No, it's not. It's right on point.
Yeah.
It's right on point. That's what's at stake.
I want to give you guys a big hello and a big thank you for who you are and what you have contributed and the service you provide for so many. And I wish you a great evening, and you guys have a good weekend.
Thank you. You as well. Great call. And please call in again.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Rick, bye, Joshua. Bye, Joshua.
You cannot compromise with someone. You cannot coexist or compromise with someone screaming death to Israel, death to the United States, death to Canada. Neville Chamberlainism doesn't work. And compromise can only happen, to your point, Rick, when you have honest brokers to compromise with. The other thing, mistrust of the news, right? As Reagan said, trust but verify. Problem is, lazy SOBs don't want to do any research and look up anything for themselves. And then lastly, because I got to go warm up something for dinner before it gets too late here. It's already 9 o'clock.
One more call, Joseph, and then we're going
to... How dare she call from Manitoba? Sexist. It's got to be gender fluid-atoba.
Okay. Go ahead. Who's the next up? Introduce yourself.
It's Isabel again.
I know. How are you tonight?
I'm not too bad. How about you?
I'm okay. Given that Israel launched its attack on Iran and I'm still alive today, I'm feeling pretty good. Really,
yeah,
overall. So what are you thinking after all of this, all of what was said tonight?
Well, because I'm Canadian, Canadian implant. My theory on this whole thing, when I watch what Kamala or Kakala is doing, she ostracized those two religious boys.
I mentioned it earlier.
At her one rally. Mm-hmm. Then she turned around and said, but it's okay for the Palestinian protests to have their say. Then she doesn't go to that dinner that
Al Smith.
What was the name of the dinner for Smith?
The Al Smith dinner, yeah.
Neither she nor Biden showed up at that.
Yep.
So to me, that's it's right in their face. She wants nothing to do with religion at all.
Oh, that's the opposite. She's anti
at all, and that's what I see is this is definitely, it's like a holy war here. Besides what we're getting with the Palestinian protesters, they want to flip everything. I mean, with trying to transition kids and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
this has become good and evil, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what the Archbishop is actually coming right out and saying in his open letter to American Catholics, which we talked about tonight. Yeah.
Now we had back in was it 2020 or 2021? We had that one. Was it a cardinal? And he said even back then, and he did a. You couldn't see him on the video, but he did a video of the truckers.
That's the same guy. It's the same guy.
Is it the same guy?
Yeah, and then so right now this week he just issued this open letter to American Catholics talking about how it's actually a sin to vote for Kamala Harris, and says that she's compared her to Satan.
I didn't know it was the same guy, but I know I listened to his video when he did that one, and it was I saw that back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was another cardinal.
Yeah, it's come down to if they don't see what everybody else is seeing with a third eye, what's going on, and they're being roped in, and of course they're getting it on, you know, media and all the rest of it. But I don't see how they don't see it. Like to me, it's so clear. It's always been clear to me. And I'm thinking, what don't they see? But I am along with John, and I'm thinking there's people that are going to wait to the very last minute, and they're going to let the other side think that they're winning, and then they're just going to lay down the votes. And I see Trump coming out. I do. I see Trump coming out. You may not agree with everything he says, but he's got the attitude that I've got. It's like off the cuff. This is what we got to do, and that's all there is to it. To me, it's like old school raising your kids.
So you think he's going to prevail?
Oh, I do think he's going to prevail.
Yeah.
I really do think he's going to prevail. It may happen within the last few minutes of the voting, but I see it's going to prevail. I've seen a guy did a video. He was, what do they call them? Called himself a pollster, and he was downstairs in the basement of this building where they were doing the election counting. And he approached the two women and he said, well, how come they're down here and, you know, the votes aren't upstairs? Why are they not counting them upstairs? They couldn't give him an answer. They couldn't give him an answer. And there's two women, different tables, counting votes. And he's like, I don't understand why they're down here.
This is recent?
Recent.
Do you know, this is interesting that you mentioned that. Was this in, what state was this in?
Oh, now you got me.
I think it was Michigan.
I think so. I'm not sure.
It was Michigan or Pennsylvania. And just to let you know, and I'm not sure if it's the same one, but they found some videos that were actually being produced by Russian operatives that are completely fake, describing exactly what you're talking about. And they've since been taken down off X. Elon Musk actually did take them down because they were absolutely fake.
Oh, were they?
Yes. Yeah, to make it look like the cheating had already started. 100% fake. 100%. Those videos. I dug into a story about that yesterday, and that's why, like, even over at X, where they don't engage in much censorship, they did remove them because they were 100% fake, Russian.
Yeah, they're certainly trying to push the buttons.
Well, they are. They're just like Joseph said. They're trying to create chaos, and you know, we shouldn't be surprised by that. And it's very clear that it's on all sides, and it's going on because they want to undermine our confidence and trust in our system, in our democracy. They don't want us to love our country. They want to disrupt everything here, because especially right now when they're at war, not just in Ukraine, they're literally at war with us, and we're at war with them. So they're attacking us. Of course they are. 100%. Naive to think otherwise.
And I mean, it's been like that for the last 3 years, right? They've been ramping it up.
Yeah.
Every day it's something new. You wake up and you go, okay, so what the hell's going on today?
Yeah.
And what are you trying to throw down my throat today?
Yeah, but you've got a combination. This is why people can't really identify it. They have trouble because you have foreign interference in the information war. Then you also have political parties or candidates also attacking each other. And sometimes they even use some of the information warfare coming from the foreign government to attack their opponent. They'll actually amplify it. We've seen that even here in Canada. That happens too. And then you're like, but wait a minute, so now it looks very legitimate. And then some of it actually filters through to candidates who begin to repeat foreign misinformation. That's how insidious it is and how dangerous it can be. It actually does happen. It affects the minds even of our own politicians. It gets into, that's why they become, as CSIS has said here in Canada, they become unwitting participants. They don't even realize they're doing it because they believe it. And in fact, case in point, tonight, I showed those photos of Kamala Harris in those dresses. When I saw those on social media, I believed it. I didn't rerun it, but I had no reason to doubt it. I should have questioned it, but it's not even her. in these like swanky, skanky dresses, and it's not her.
Right,
It's
there's
not
enough
true.
real stuff. Why make it up?
The other thing that I always have a question about too is she's with this, okay, rights for the women's body and all that, but it's not that.
Yeah.
It's not that. This is an elimination of the population. And I keep thinking, like, she never had her own kids. So how can she stand there and profess, because she makes it sound like she's been a mother because she knows how it is. And I'm like, wait a minute, you haven't had kids. So how do you know what you're trying to enforce with abortion almost up to the end? You don't know what it's like to have a baby. You don't know what it's like to carry a baby or to be bonded to a baby. So what gives you the right to say this is...
Well, see, that's why I'm giving up on women altogether, including my wife, and I'm just going to get myself pregnant. So,
well, like I said in my comment, you better take a deep breath, my friend, because you're in for one mega amount of pain.
yeah, that's why I was always grateful for being a man. It was like, let my wife do the heavy lifting.
They had it now. Maybe this was a fluke too. They had it where in the American Senate, I believe they call it, they were investigating. They were asking this one supposedly specialist, is it true that men can have babies? Mm-hmm. And of course, this girl says, well, yes, it's true. Men can have babies. So the guy's looking at her and he goes, okay, so the question is, where does it come out of?
Uh-huh.
And she says, well, that's why they call them butt babies. I'm thinking, wait a minute.
What the hell?
No, that's not why.
But see, here's where things get weird. I'm going to put this up on the screen. It was just a short time ago, the first pregnant man shown, and it was on a magazine cover, wasn't it? Glamour magazine?
Yes, I saw that. Was that Vogue or something?
Glamour. So here's the cover. I've just pulled it up on Google. Glamour magazine.
Real man.
Trans, pregnant, and proud. But
trans man, yeah,
is
not
that
a real
so?
Man.
That's actually, see, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I do know,
That would actually be the male partner of a lesbian couple.
Yeah.
Which is actually a woman who is a female trans, if you want to call it that. I don't mean to say it. I mean like the situation. I don't know what language to use anymore. I don't know what pronouns to use. So don't throw me in jail. I just don't know.
You
okay?
pronounophobe.
So what do they say when a baby is born?
Ouch.
Hooray, it's a boy. Hooray, it's a girl. Hooray, it's a...
Whatever you want to call it, I guess. Whatever you choose to identify it as. There's that word "it" again. I don't mean it in a pejorative way. It's just slipping up because I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to say anymore. The language has become convoluted, and oh my God, I'm just getting myself into deeper and deeper trouble. I should never. Yeah, stop. Just oh my God, Isabel, help me out here. Just bail me out. Bring me home.
Bail you out.
Yeah.
Well, I look at this from a woman's perspective. And they want so much to be a woman. Okay, so then we need to wire them up so that they can get a chance at what cramps actually feel like, what birth pains actually feel like. And when your gonads drop off, we'll see how much fun that was.
Well, I don't mean to make light of it, and I'm not making fun of anybody. I believe in freedom. So if people, as far as I'm concerned, people can do kind of whatever the heck they want. And if a man wants to have a baby and can make it happen, you go for it, man. Okay? Or whatever. But
that's what I think, but why do we have to be educated in their lifestyle? They're not educated in my lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, tolerance, yes, but forced acceptance and embracement, no. Yes. That's a different thing altogether. And that's really where we've seen our prime minister try to take this. in Canada. They're trying to not just have people tolerate other views, but actually embrace them. And, no, you can't do that, because if you can't tell Christians, really religious Christians, devout, to accept even homosexuality. What you have to say is, you have to let those people do what they want to do. Let them live the way they want to live. You live the way you want to live, and you can leave each other alone and just respect that they have the right to do what they want to do as adults, to make their own choices. That's it. That's as far as you have to go.
And this is where we were. Well, I have to go back 5 years ago now. It seems like we've lost almost a whole decade here with him. Where we were tolerant, and it wasn't even brought up because it wasn't something that you discussed in everyday life. You didn't care what the other person was or what their lifestyle was behind closed doors or whatever.
Right.
Until
it
they
was people
pushed it
accepting
on everyone.
people. Now you can't have just a normal discussion and maybe get into a heated discussion, but still walk away and go, yeah, okay, so I got that. Yeah, but that's fun.
And I don't care if it's out in public. People can do it. They can walk down the street wearing whatever they want, expressing themselves any way they want. But I'm also of the mind that if someone is, a Baptist or Jehovah's Witness, and they don't agree with it, they have the right to walk down the street and think what they want to, and even to some degree say what they want, as long as what they're saying isn't inciting violence or threatening to somebody else or violating their rights, right?
You have a right to hate, but not to incite.
You don't have to barrage people because you have a thought one way or another.
Right.
Like, we never had this before.
So that's tolerance.
He has Trudeau has stirred the pot because he wants to hide what he's doing. So he's got to stir the pot, and he's stirred the pot so bad that not only dividing families during COVID because of his stupidity, but now he's done it in other ways. And he's broken families and he's broken friendships that people had for 20, 30 years. Because he's telling them they're right and these ones are wrong, these ones are good and those ones are bad. And people don't have a brain to say, wait a minute, you don't need to tell me what to do, I'm not stupid. But they're trying to dumb us down. They're trying to tell us that we don't know what we're doing, and he's going to tell us what to do.
See, this is you're right, and this is why I'm a conservative. Like, and I mean like a just a traditional conservative. And what I mean by that is, I see people get into politics and even journalism. I remember I've run into so many people who get into journalism because they want to change things or change the country, change the world. Well, change can be good, but it can also be bad. But me as a conservative, I want to conserve those things that work, that are good, and change the things that need to improve or are not working. I don't want change for change's sake. I don't want people to just get out there and tear everything down and change it all. No, I want to fix the problems, but keep things that are better. I look at it like a Volkswagen Golf, right? You basically, in 1974, had Volkswagen come along and introduce basically the first hatchback, right? Like that style. Super great design, one of the best designs in automotive history. And what they've done from 1974 to today is they've taken that basic car, which started off as a Rabbit, and it's called the Golf now, and they just keep improving on it year over year over year over year. They don't throw the whole thing in the trash. They don't completely redesign the whole car every single year. They take that basic design and improve the suspension, and then they upgrade the engine 10 years later, and they incorporate this new technology. And if that wasn't working very well on the exhaust, they change that. And you see, they just keep improving it. And so you see the improvements from 1974 to what you get today, and it's a far superior vehicle, but it looks very much the same. That's what we need to be doing with our country, because it's efficient. You're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. People know what they're going to get. There's stability and continuity, and you get this fantastic car. And now today, if you went and bought a Volkswagen GTI turbocharged, those things are so tight, they're so fast, they're so versatile. They're one of the best cars and I'm into cars. They're one of the best cars I've ever driven. I've got an old Volkswagen sitting in my driveway that just keeps on going. This is what I'm saying. Our country is like an old car. We need to just fix up some of the parts, and it'll be worth a gazillion dollars because it's a gem. It's like having the James Bond Aston Martin, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That car is worth, I don't know, millions of dollars. It's an old car, but man, it's worth a lot. And it's more than a fixer-upper. It's a gem. You want to keep that thing and take care of it and nurture it and make it something, and just keep it going, because it's better than any new car you're ever going to buy. That's the way I look at it. Keep on improving on it.
Yeah, my dad had an Aston Martin, and even though it was a small car, you got in that thing, it had a lot of room.
Yeah, well.
It's like, whoa. The best car he had, though, was a 1957 Ford. I loved that car. It had the white walls and the whole bit.
Anyway.
But see, this is the thing. Today, it's not, I say, okay, repair, not replace. That's my theory.
Sure.
Repair, don't replace. And it's like everything, though. Today, everything is friggin' disposable. Nothing lasts anymore.
Everybody wants to chuck it. Yeah.
You could have a fridge for 20, 30 years.
And you know why? You want to know why our system in our country is so darn good? Because as bad as things are right now, it will self-correct. We can correct it. You're seeing those corrections slowly beginning to take place even after the pandemic. And the reason it's so darn good is because it's the best of the best of the best ideas from philosophers and political scientists and systems and governments over literally thousands of years. This is how long it has taken to develop it. So when I hear people saying, well, it doesn't work, we have to just decouple from the monarchy and tear it all down and destroy everything and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you're so full of crap. You know what? You're going to rip it all apart. You're not even telling me what you're going to offer on the other side. You really don't have a freaking clue, or you're lying and hiding it because you're either a communist or a freaking fascist and you just don't want to admit it. And you're going to introduce these really bad, failed ideas again, and then we're gonna suffer under the boot of authoritarian collectivism. No, thank you. I will fix what we've got, man, because we had the gem, we had it working, and we need to get that back by improving on what we've got to prevent the mistakes that have gotten us into this mess right now. And we can do it. We got to do it, man. We got it. I love this country, and I'm not giving up on it.
They're not progressive,
I mean,
they're regressive.
If we had enough grays in the population, we could turn it around, because the younger generation, I'm not saying all of them, but they've grown up in an electronic age where
delusional
it's a wonder they can even count their change. Oh, wait a minute, they don't need to count the change now because they got a card.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So now the actual cash amount, when we were kids growing up and you counted your pennies and you wanted to get that specific thing at the end of the week when you did your chores, they don't have that now. So there is no, I'm going to work towards that. Hey, pull out the card, there it goes, I don't see the money going, oh, now I'm in debt. Well, how did that happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? Then what do you hear? You hear the false political prophets who sit there and say, oh, you see, you're a slave. That they're turned you into a slave. No, you made a bad choice. You got into debt. You enslaved yourself by picking up debt that you couldn't repay because you made a bad choice. Now you better take personal responsibility for it and pay that back. It's literally that simple, but people don't want to hear that.
It is, and because they don't see the physical cash in their hand and how they're spending it with what they got left, like we did.
Yeah.
You wanted to buy something, but I don't know, do I want to get rid of the whole $10? I got to think about that. They don't have to think about that.
Yeah. Well, it's not to say that, the system doesn't have its flaws, and, we do need to make sure that things operate so that everyone is equal under the law, and that there is equal opportunity, not always equal outcomes, but equal opportunities for people. So these are the things we need to embrace and get back to, and it is common sense, it is basics, but it's all there. The foundation for it all is right there for us, for the taking. We already have it. We just need to figure out again how to use it.
We do, but and like yourself, as you progress through life, you will reinvent yourself through different stages of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's being self-sufficient and going, okay, I'm going to lose this job, or I'm not going to like this job, so I'm going to reinvent myself. So either you go back to school, or you learn a trade, or you just turn yourself around. A lot of us have done that, but we've come from the other side of the decade where we've learned to do that.
Yeah.
This side of the decade was, well, if you stay home, we'll pay you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Free stuff. And that is where we're getting in ourselves into a lot of trouble.
And now they're like, I'm so depressed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, okay, well, when I get depressed, I clean my house.
That's right.
When I get depressed, I will wallpaper. When I get depressed, I'll cut my grass.
Yeah.
There was a way out of it, but they don't do that now.
Mm-hmm.
She says she smokes
They can't rely on themselves. They can't get into themselves to bring out something else. And I don't get it.
Well,
I mean, I was raised, and you were probably too. Oh, you bored? Well, let me find you something to do. No, it's okay,
right.
Mom.
That's right. Yes,
You
sir.
never were bored. You had something. You better find something to do, because parents are going to find you something to do.
Yeah.
Which was kept you busy. And a lot of these electronics is doing the opposite. And all I see is they may as well be plugged into their phone with a wire, because that's all I see.
Elon chip.
That's all I see.
We're all going to get jacked into the Matrix. Hey, just one last question before we sign off. Were you with us for the Maverick Midnight Matinee movie last night?
I did not. I was planning on it, and I fell asleep in front of my computer.
Okay, well, we ran Night of the Living Dead, which was our Halloween special.
Yes, and
that
I
was
had
fun.
seen that before. And when I was a kid, that scared the living bejesus out of me.
Me too. Oh, it's still scary. It's still scary. And
That one and the Phantom of the Opera was another one that scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, we need to run that one too. Yeah, and did you see our Frankencar? Did you hear our Frankencar song last night at the end of the Maverick News program? Did you like that one?
I like that one.
Okay.
I like anything to do with cars and motorcycles.
There you go. Well, there's a fixer-upper for you. A symbol of hope, maybe. Even a demon car can be what's the right word? Be saved. Yeah. Anyway, Isabel, thank you for calling in tonight. It was a great call.
Thank you. Oh, one more thing. Did you get your package yet?
No, I have not seen it.
Oh, Canada Post better not have lost it.
Oh, I hope not. They're usually pretty good, I have to say. For a crown corporation, they're not so bad. Kinda.
No.
Kinda. I'll keep my eye open for it, but I did go to the mailbox. Because I had to pick up a book from Jack McClellan, who was on the program the other night, and I have to finish reading it. He's going to be back on Monday. We're going to talk about his new book. And we have, I think, Tom Marazzo joining him as well, who has been, heavily involved with the Freedom Convoy and the Freedom Movement and so on. So we'll look forward to that on Monday. And I'll be back tomorrow night. And Isabel, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
Good night, Rick. Good night, Joseph.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Good night. Yeah, 3 things, Rick.
Yep.
Real quick. One, there was a different cardinal spoke out. The nincompoop had him kicked from the church.
Mm-hmm.
2, the Al Smith dinner. Kamala is anti-Catholic, if not also just anti-Christian. She coupled...
Is that fair to say that? Is that really true fair?
Well, look
to say
at
she's
the
anti-Catholic,
video.
anti-Christian?
Look at the video she sent into the Al Smith dinner after ditching it with the SNL Shannon anti-Catholic character in SNL. So she insulted the Catholics at the Catholic dinner. She didn't attend with that video. And lastly, You can't have a baby, Stan. Cleese would probably denounce Life of Brian today. That was spot on then.
Well, that's true. There is that skit that
you can't have a baby, Stan. Life of Brian, wasn't it?
It was Life of Brian. There's the whole scene. It's hilarious, actually.
But
but
I want to be a mother.
Yes.
You're a
Well,
man, Stan.
that's my new goal as well. I'm gonna have a baby. And there
Call
you go.
John Cleese. I'm sure he'll help you now.
All right. And Joseph, where can people find your work when you're not here?
Yeah, Joseph M. Leonard. Again, it looks French. It's not Leonard. It's Leonard. Well, I don't know. JosephMLeonard.us. tinyurl.com/JLD articles. I'm dropping like 3 a day till the election on all the different stuff going on.
And we're definitely having you back before the election. And we have to figure out some way to get you on during election night as well. Even though you're committed elsewhere, you're coming on here, my friend, because it just isn't going to work without you.
Sneak in before that.
Or something, yeah. We'll work out something. We'll get something going on here. And folks, you can support the program by donating at freedomreporters.com. There it is right there. And one more time, freedomreporters.com. And
run the ad again.
Yeah, there you go.
On the way out. See you later. I gotta
freedomreporters.com.
warm up something.
All right, and thank you, Joseph. It's been great. And folks, I'm going to leave you tonight with the Frankencar video again. Anybody who donates $10 or more, and I will send you tonight the 10-song SST Cruising for Freedom collection. All cartoons, car-related tunes, also related to freedom, inspiration, hope. Don't give up on your country. Fight to preserve it, make it better. Joseph, thank you, my friend.
Love you, brother. Love
you. Love all of you. Love everybody. Love your neighbor. And I'll catch you tomorrow on the flip side.
Junkyard, piece by piece, welded together, can't find no peace. Hood from a Chevy, tail from a Ford, rising like a demon that you can't ignore. Chrome from the past, rust in its veins, blowing off wrecks, now it's going insane. Wheels spin wild, headlights gleam, it's alive, it's a twisted metal dream. When the lightning strikes and the engines roar, you know it's coming back for more. A beast of bolts with a heart of steel. Car, you're too real. Breaking car, turn through the night, stitched together, ready for the fight. Dark and twisted, you don't care with a heart and soul. Wicked glare, breaking car, you're coming alive. Run for your life, you won't survive. The tires screech, smoke in the air, no driver inside, but someone's there. Radio plays an eerie underneath the blood red moon, rattling bones, engine growls, it's hungry now, hear the howls, from the scrap it came to life, a monster car, born from strife, rev it up, feel the fear, franken cars, drawing near, with every turn, its eyes grow cold, this car's got a mind that can't be controlled, franken car, turn through the night, stitched together, ready for the fight. Dark and twisted, you don't care with a heart and soul and a wicked glare. Franken car, you're coming alive. Run for your life, you won't survive. You won't survive. Backyard screams, engines wail. Every part's a twisted tale. Ghost of the road, a beast reborn. Feel the terror in the sound of its horn. It's more than metal, it's something more. A creature rolling, craving war. No one knows where it's from or why, but breaking car will make you cry. Breaking car, turn through the night, stitched together, ready for the fight. It's on the prowl now, growl.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.